So it's almost like a little Vipassana in there too. And have you done that? Where, I mean, Vipassana, I guess for people that don't know, and I haven't done it, but it's 10 days, no talking, no devices, no distractions, and you meditate a lot. But again, of course, there's light and there's people around. But, I know Tim Ferriss has said that was as challenging, if not more, than one of his hardest psychedelic experience. So you kind of have that too in the dark, right?
Yep, you do. Because you're not talking to anybody. You don't have any sound. You don't have anything to do. You don't have any sight. It's a complete restriction of all of your senses, except for the sense of touch and taste when you're eating the food. But as I said, the food was really bland, which I understand why they had the food like that. Because when you're in the visionary state, like nobody in their right mind would eat food at the peak of an ayahuasca journey or at like the peak of a mushroom journey. It's the last thing you want to do. But at the peak of this visionary state, I would eat food. And I would absolutely see the food that I was eating. So I would eat a mushroom and I would see these mushrooms like coming up, pushing up out of the ground in my third eye, like crystal clear. I would eat a broccoli and I would see it. But everything though, I would soap up, I would go take a shower and soap up and I would see the suds just flood my third eye vision. I would take a shit and I would see the feces as I was like shitting it. It was unbelievable the access I had with that kind of endogenous DMT, which they say comes from the flood of melatonin from all your photoreceptors being shut off. And so the contrast of your photoreceptors usually being activated and limiting your melatonin to then being completely shut off and producing a ton of melatonin, which is triggered by the darkness, which is one of the reasons why we restrict blue lights before bed, et cetera, to get more melatonin. Right. But you get a flood of it. And then somehow in the chemical process, the melatonin converts to DMT is what they said. But of course, it would require a vivisection of the brain to actually see if that was happening. And I don't think anybody's signing up for that program, but it was unreal.
And this is pretty predictable. I mean, the people that go to this retreat, does this happen to everybody or most people?
That's what I hear. Okay. I haven't, she said that this is usual. Now for me, it happened a little bit sooner. Some people it's around day 5. So they always recommend you're in there for a week.
Okay.
But for me, it was day 3. And I'm grateful because actually the first few days with nothing happening were harder, which makes me think that with a Vipassana, that would also be incredibly challenging because you can still see, you still have access to a variety of different things and the vision state isn't open. I mean, the one thing about being in the vision state is not boring. Yeah. Like you're dealing with stuff. I was reconciling stuff with my father. I had a vision of Buddha that came to me and brought some wisdom. You have these things that are happening, different souls, different connections that you're able to have with people who you love or people who have passed. Like it's infinitely interesting, which I think, the challenging part of the Vipassana is just the kind of sitting with your thoughts without the access to that kind of spiritual dimension, which was actually beneficial. Now, challenging for sure, but also not monotonous.